quick question for both James and Logan. I want to ask you guys this. I'm going to go to Logan first and then ask James. I think we can all agree that LSU and Clemson are the two toughest teams on Florida State's
I always
schedule
love
right
how
now.
I get lifted out of the questions, and
Fine,
it's my
Mark.
channel and my show.
Mark, you can answer the question too, but these two are Florida State graduates. We were at Florida State.
Well, you're not
You know
asking
what?
them about the backup
what?
left guard. You
know
can
what?
leave me out of those questions.
I'll ask you about why Ohio State dropped Washington later. We'll ask you about that one in a moment. But Mark, you can jump in here on this one too.
Thank you.
But
Appreciate
first,
that.
You're welcome. First of all, Logan and James. We all would say that LSU and Clemson are probably the two toughest teams right now in Florida State's schedule as we do this show in the middle of February. What other team on the schedule, I guess, do you have concerns about? I guess, and Logan obviously doesn't want to answer the question, so we'll go to James next. James, what is the team right now, and then Mark, that you have a concern about other than Clemson and LSU that gives you the most worry?
Pitt. And it's because we play there. And Pitt brings a different flavor of offense and team that we were used to see. It's kind of like when Boston College first came. I tell people Boston College was a bigger, thicker team. They weren't like the other teams that we played where we can utilize our speed, we can utilize different things. Pitt's going to be physical. They're going to run the ball. And when I look at what some of our weaknesses were last season, that was against the run against bigger teams. So like with Florida, if Florida doesn't decide to get cute and fling the ball, they probably could have just ran the ball down our throat and won the game. But that's where I believe, the cool thing is that FSU's offense kind of forced Florida to have to continue to press the issue. So like if you can run, you can eat up the clock, but if we're going to score quick and force you to change your offense, I think that's where Florida State would have to come in, get up 14 on them quick, and change the way that Pitt has to play offense. Because as Logan suggested about his favorite NFL team winning the AFC North, Kenny Pickett isn't walking out of that locker room.
We all know the Steelers aren't winning the AFC North, but Logan, who do you have right there? Obviously, other than Clemson and LSU, who do you have right now? Little man making a shot at appearance here on the show from Jacksonville.
Outside of those two, I think the travel to Pittsburgh will be big, and that will be a big learning lesson too for maybe some of the younger guys that'll be playing in that game. I mean, you'd have a lot of experience coming through all the way till November, but that one's going to be, I think, a test. I was expecting a lot more out of Pittsburgh this last year, just the way that they started their season, and they've kind of grown a good fan base there, and they've built a good, electric crowd kind of feel. So they're going to bring that. Last time Florida State was there was in 2013. So I don't think they're going to be seeking for revenge, but this will be a game with a lot of storylines. Definitely if Florida State is playing to the caliber that we think they are, there's going to be a lot of talk and chatter about the last time Florida State went up there with Jameis Winston and started that whole campaign to win the 2013 national championship. So I'd go with Pittsburgh being probably a tough one there. I'm trying to find one though that's outside of that. It used to be whenever Virginia Tech and Florida State played, those used to be some tight, pretty close games. That's just not the case anymore. I'd like to see Virginia Tech make it a game because that would be a fun one to have after a bye week on October 7th. But I'm actually, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Florida State plays Duke next year.
I was going to say,
Duke had a really nice season last year, and they got a quarterback too that not a lot of people talked about. And that's kind of the case for a lot of ACC quarterbacks, unless you're playing for Clemson. But, now Jordan Travis is starting to get some attention, a little too late in my opinion. But this young quarterback for Duke is probably going to play pretty well in 2023. And I'd look at that game to not overlook it, because I'm no longer looking at Wake Forest anymore now that Hartman's gone after his 16th year. I think with Duke, after that Syracuse game, will be pretty fun. And that quarterback is someone I'm keeping a close eye on, and the coaching staff that they put together there. It's a team that will battle all the way until the end. So that one might be one that out of nowhere, an FSU versus Duke 8 p.m. kickoff, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Logan, but I think it's Duke as well. I think Duke, especially when you're coming off whatever happens in the first 4 games happens, but you're going to have a Virginia Tech team that, if we're going by what they were last season, was a bad football team, and a Syracuse team that started hot and then lost, I believe it was 6 of their last 7 games at the end of the season, including getting blown out 38-3 by Florida State. So for me, Duke is that question mark at that point. If Florida State's going to come in and then have to play, I think that's arguably an offense intended to the Miami fans watching this show. I think Duke is our toughest home game next season.